Have a really good think, because somebody you know could earn you a lot of money for very little effort. Think, who do you know that wants to buy a property in Spain? A colleague, a mate, someone in your family, a friend of a friend? If you know someone, go to welcome-estates.com and click the Refer a Friend link. If they buy, you'll pocket a nice chunky thank you from one of Spain's leading estate agents. T's and C's apply. All details at welcome-estates.com.
So good evening everybody, I hope you're well. It's my first video in a while. Some of you will also notice that I took my videos down for a while. Sometimes you just gotta get away from social media and the madness and the chaotic world that is boxing. I think you all know, and I've said this several times, I am increasingly falling out of love with the sport, and it becomes very, very hard to justify why you love boxing. When you truly watch a competitive fight at any level, and you see fair judging, fair officiating and good sportsmanship, it always brings you back into boxing, doesn't it? You always fall a little bit back in love with the sport, but generally we're not seeing a lot of that. So today's news, obviously Amir Khan and the positive test, or the adverse finding for Ostarine, which is again a performance enhancing drug, a testosterone enhancer if you like, and one that's quite hard to detect, that a lot of people use this drug apparently from the little bit of reading I've been doing. But once again, boxing continues to disappoint. So first of all, anyone who's saying, well, Khan got beat anyway and it's at the back end of his career, like that's some kind of pass, you're pretty stupid actually. Okay, it's a failed adverse drugs test, simple as that. We have to be consistent. I've gone hard on Conor Benn and the mess that there is there, and I'm going to go hard on Amir Khan. And I've met Amir Khan several times. I have worked with a fighter over the years, Gary Sykes, who was an ex-England teammate of Khan's, and he has trained with Khan, and we've gone over for sparring several times over at the Gloves gym and at Oliver Harrison, God rest his soul, at his gym previously. And I've met Amir and I've met his father Shaz, and they are good people, friendly people, but it's irrelevant. A failed test is a failed test. We need to be consistent here. Doesn't matter if it's a 2-year ban and the fact that he's retired. When anybody ever tests positive for a performance enhancing drug, in my book, I have to review their career with a completely different lens. Tyson Fury, Canelo Alvarez, Shane Mosley, Roy Jones Jr., James Toney, all those guys, Fernando Vargas, all those guys have tested for one steroid or another. Doesn't matter what stage it is in their career. If you've done it once, you've probably done it before, and you've probably done it since. You just get smarter at masking it. So Amir Khan, just like every single person who tests positive, says, I don't know how it got there. I own it's in my system. Unlike Conor Benn, I will sit down and face UCAD, unlike Conor Benn, but ultimately I've got no idea how it gets there. I'm always amazed that these people who they brag about, I've got the best dietitian, the best chef, the best nutritionalist, the best S&C coach there is, the absolute best, but yet they can't look at things like simple protein drinks and supplements and say, well, actually it's got several banned substances in there by UCAD or by VADA or by WADA. They can never seem to do that, can they? Amazing, really. And then they'll always say, well, it's a tiny amount. Well, it always depends on when you get tested. The test for Amir Khan was at the end of his camp, and it was after the fight. So anything that was potentially in his system would be just trace amounts once he gets that adverse finding, obviously after the fight. People try to come off certain substances 6 to 8 weeks, or sometimes 12 to 16 weeks before the event. It's the preloading that they're doing before then that we have to worry about. But listen, it doesn't matter to me now, because it's a dirty sport. We accept it's a dirty sport and we continue to watch, or we do what I do most of the time, which is just switch off. So I tune into the odd fight. Sometimes I'll watch a show, sometimes I won't. I won't watch a DAZN show. I mentioned the reasons for that before. I've no longer subscribed to DAZN. But ultimately, you have to make a decision and say, do I really care about boxing anymore when boxing doesn't care about itself? As I've said, we love the combative nature of boxing when everything's even. There's no sport like it. It's the best sport in the world. I always think about what it's done for me personally in terms of my own growth. When I was a 15-year-old amateur, the confidence it gave me. I was a quiet kid. Such a brilliant sport, and a lot of people involved in boxing, a lot of the people give up their time voluntarily, are just amazing. But once you get to a certain level, boxing's a dirty sport. People say everybody's on it, let people take what they want, let's have a level playing field. Well, what I can tell you is when I worked with Gary Sykes, and I worked with other fighters, but Gary Sykes had 6 drugs tests and he was clean 6 times for 6 British title fights. So there's no dirty fighters in my gym. There was nobody in my gym who were taking anything they shouldn't have done. So not everybody's on it, but maybe there's a high percentage of elite athletes who are on it, and maybe that's sometimes the difference between domestic and European, world and elite level. Who knows? Massively disappointing news, but not surprising. And I do wonder how many blows boxing can take right now. But for what it's worth now, I personally will view Amir Khan's whole career with absolute suspicion, as I will all the other boxers that I've mentioned. Total suspicion. And you've got to live with that. You've got to live with it. Okay? So it's a quickish video from me because I've had a busy day. Just got back from the dentist. Spent a small fortune, as you always do. The weekend's coming up. Easter weekend's coming up, guys. As I've said, not many videos from me lately. What's to talk about? Not a lot. But what I will say is, while boxing continues to make fights like Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia, which is absolute perler, and Lomachenko and Haney again, and we're also hearing once again that Crawford and Spence is looking very, very likely for sometime in June. While boxing continues to throw fights up like that, it's hard to walk away. But whilst we get the unification at heavyweight falling through and the shambles there, which I called out, by the way, where are all you guys who were saying I was wrong and the fight was going to happen and it was just brinksmanship from Fury? Anyway, I'm digressing, it's irrelevant. Easter weekend coming up. Have a good weekend, everybody. Have time with your family and your loved ones. Have some time off work, and you take care.
Porky's Corner is proud to be sponsored by Spartan Site Solutions. They are specialists in civil engineering and demolition contracts for the construction industry. Interested parties should visit their website or contact Porky's Corner for a referral at porkycorner@mail.com.